Aloha, y'all. It is Sunday, ruled by the sun. Sunday, hence the name. And it is a Sahasrara chakra day. This is your crown chakra. According to the dream spell, it is the last day in January. It is a yellow solar star guided by flowering. And this is an image of flowering. I've literally broken through my crown chakra on DMT the first time. And it was literally a flower, like a thousand petaled lotus flower. So flowering today on this Sunday, Sahasrara. Do the mantras, do the mudras, and as my fiance has been right to say, don't just focus on getting as woke as possible with the crown or the third eye. It's like root chakra stuff is very important. Do all the chakras, right? You need all the kind of codes unlocked. Speak of the devil, Haley, what up? Uh, and she is a yellow star tribe, so that's I think it's her day or tone or whatever today. But yeah, do the Sahasrara chakra, do the crown chakra, do the mudras, do the mantras. Watch the magic happen as you know that you're a part of the one, and the one is in the all, and the all is in the one. It's these are a million little Om symbols. If you look at it closely, it's like Om, and that's kind of what we're on—a dream of the dreamer dreaming the dream, consciousness playing with itself, as they say. So let's go ahead and get a card. I'll very quickly kind of talk about what the astrology is. The sun is in Aquarius, the moon is in Virgo, Mercury is in retrograde in Aquarius, Venus is in Capricorn, Mars is in Taurus, Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius, uh, Uranus is in Taurus, Neptune's in Pisces, Pluto's in Capricorn, and the North Node is in Gemini. So, what can we get for today? Let's see what wants to pop on this last day of January, the sun day. Winner, winner. We have Justice card. So, this is a major arcana card. It's actually the Libra card. And let's go ahead and see what it has in store for us. I just opened a Temperance by accident. Where are you at, Justice? Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Alien, Justice. Cool. So, Justice card. The principle of consequences. You reap what you sow, reclaiming your power, taking an honest inventory of your life, and acknowledging both the successes and the defeats. By reclaiming the power, it makes me think of the whole GameStop, Reddit versus the Wall Street hedge fund situation, right? Where it's like the elite have had power and access to the room where it happens for a long time, and now people are kind of grokking how to play that game and beating them at their own game, right? Reaping what they sow, but also reclaiming the power of the people in that sense. Justice, I reap what I sow. I choose to walk the path of truth. This is on page 44. And even in the card, it shows the head and the heart. 44, both sides, right? Justice invites us to consider that we are powerful orchestrators of our lives, and all of your thoughts, feelings, and actions have led to the place you find yourself in right now. We are not victims of circumstance, though it sometimes feels that way. We are orchestrators of our life at the highest levels. It brings to light the principle of consequences, the effects of resulting from your actions. Are you reaping what you have sowed? In the card, a figure of a woman stands upright, strong, wild, unapologetic. A universal figure of mixed origins, she stands holding a brain in one hand, a heart in the other, portraying the balance of head and heart, thought and feeling. The world around her is teeming with life force, seething with nature, wild and mesmerizing. This card calls you to consider a balance of head and heart, logic and intuition, getting things done versus emotional connection and well-being. Haley pulled her cards this morning during our quiet time or whatever, the Emperor card as well as the Priestess. Once again, balancing head and heart, masculine and feminine. To live well, to work well, we need both. A dynamic interplay and feedback between the two, helping us to be efficient and effective and appreciative and purposeful. After all, emotion is much more powerful driver of human behavior than reason and logic alone. Justice asks you to take an honest inventory of your life and acknowledge your successes and defeats. You are the judge and juror because only you know in your heart of hearts if you have acted fairly towards yourself and others. If not, perhaps now is the time to regain integrity and make amends. Renewed power, autonomy, and freedom are revealed when we take full responsibility and give up making others wrong, life wrong. I just started reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with Haley, and this is Mr. Tumnus has a moment of clarity where he has a sense of justice, and he's like, I'm not going to turn you into the White Witch. That would be the wrong thing to do. Forgive me, right? He's not being a victim of the circumstances, saying, well, I have to do what she says, and I'm in danger. He's like, I'll do the right thing. Remember, the finger of blame points one finger forward and 3 back towards ourselves. In blaming others and life itself for our circumstances, we miss the opportunity to take back the power we have given away. We miss deliberating on the actions that could catalyze an amazing new lease of life and play the victim instead, stuck in suffering. Personal justice, then, is what you know is right, balanced in both the head and heart. It calls you to powerfully question what you know, at the deepest levels, as unjust. There are times in life when you must stand up for what is right for you, your own truth, and times when you must stand up for those who have no one to help them receive justice. This card is the great questioner, seeking out the truth and refusing to accept things that don't work or cause suffering and discomfort. It is the reclaiming of power from things which have been taken against your will, or without your knowledge. It asks you bluntly what do you actually stand for? What are you willing to take a stand for? We live in a society and abide by rules and regulations we may not always agree with, but have to navigate for fear of consequences. There are grave injustices in the world, escalating inequalities and marked polarities, especially in countries vulnerable to despots and warfare. While so many feel powerless in the face of their oppressors, the justice system in a democracy is designed to maintain order and bring balance, stability, and harmony to its peoples, despite contrasting ideas about what is fair and equitable. The court of law recognizes that there are fundamental, inalienable rights that a person is entitled to simply because they are a human being. Here, justice calls you to recognize your personal opinion of justice within the mundane world may be filled with contradictions, and yet, despite this, you must rise up and be guided by the spiritual. Each action tips the balance either towards love or suffering, good or evil, right or wrong. So, justice, the principle of consequences, you reap what you sow, reclaiming your power, taking an honest inventory of your life, and acknowledging both successes and defeats. And on the Sunday, we have the ability to kind of tap into the highest level of that, where it's like, it is perfectly balanced. How am I overstressing this side as opposed to that side, right? How am I focusing on this stuff without being present here? It's all one thing, and it is infinitely scopic like that. So we just have to kind of enjoy the ride, sit back, and enjoy the polarity in terms of balancing. The Tao that can be named is not the Tao. So this is about living in balance. Life out of balance is what causes suffering. Though guess what? Life is suffering paradox. So it's like there's levels of out of balanced, you know, there's pivot and spectrum here. So don't just think you're going to sit in this very still place and nothing will happen. The gene key I read, I forget what number it was, but it was about suffering. And suffering, struggle is constant, right? There's always a struggle, always a balancing act in a sense. But at the same time, your attitude towards that situation is what makes it either suffering or not suffering. So the card we got for the clarifier is the Youth. Good MGMT song, the Youth. So let's see what we can get on this Sunday, last day of January. The Youth. Keywords: adventure, new horizons, excitement, independence, freedom, rebellion, impulsiveness, loyalty, and compromise. Key phrases: quest for adventure, live in the moment, action without thought, defying tradition and conformity. This is very North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius, right? Greater risk, greater reward, assert your independence, embrace individuality, a new direction, freedom from fear and doubts, a time of conflict or turmoil, communication and compromise, address desires. Meaning: sweet-faced and beguiling, the youth has left the security of home and hearth without a backward glance. He is alone, but confident in the knowledge that a loving and supportive family will be there if he has need of them. On a quest for adventure and discovery, he seeks the excitement of the new and unknown in distant lands. Following whispers and rumor, he takes risks with little thought or care. His choice is to live in the moment. The past is left behind, while thoughts of the future rest only as far as his next journey, right? So Virgo moon, he's embodying the change practically. He's like he's walking the path. But Sun in Aquarius, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius, we have the ability to like really push frontiers, be geniuses, and extend into new domains. Be adventurers in a sense, North Node in Gemini. Every adventure gives him a greater knowledge of the world and his place in it. The past is left behind, while thoughts of the future rest only as far as his next journey. Believing himself both immortal and infallible, he often acts spontaneously, using his charm and enthusiasm to win him favor and release him from strife. He rebels against sage advice to use restraint or caution. As far as the youth is concerned, the greater the risk, the more rewarding the outcome. The only loyalty he shows is to those companions who journey with him. Very team-oriented, right? Aquarius Sun. Those who are loyal to the quest will have his loyalty in return, while those who seek to curb and restrict him will be met with resistance. Those who share his passions and interests are right, while those who do not are wrong, and that's the sense of justice for him, right? There are no shades of gray. The youth sees all in black and white. Polarity, Justice card. The youth also seeks the freedom to find his own answers. Tradition be damned. South Node and Sag. Just like, fuck tradition. North Node Gemini, let's play. Life is too short to follow in another's footsteps and do things their way. The youth will do things his way without thought of the consequences. His concern is for today. Tomorrow can take care of itself. And I'm in a very, I mean, this resonates naturally. I'm a double Gemini. This feels very in 11th house, Sun and Moon. Very naturally what I resonate with. There's consequences to kind of going headlong into like Switzerland and Ecuador and Australia and, you know, all this stuff without having money, right? But ultimately, things work out. You reap what you sow. So if you live a life of adventure and trust the process and push the limits for yourself and your own exploration, things that bring you curiosity and excitement and joy, it will work. You want to do that in a way that includes others. You want to do that in a way that's forward-looking and not stuck in the past, and in a way that's both hearted and thoughtful. You don't want to just take risks without any awareness of the consequences, but also you don't want to be frozen by responsibility, practicality, fear, essentially. So we've got number 11, pioneering spirit. You guys can't make this shit up, right? The pioneering spirit is the youth. He is the pioneering spirit. So number 11, and once again we have on page 44, where's the first card? This is 11. It's one on each side. The balance of the Libra card, the Justice card, but also the North Node, where we're trying to go, etc., etc. So this is a Lyran card, and is as follows. 11, pioneering spirit, past timeline. The early beginnings of the Lyran civilization were filled with excitement of exploring the universe. Filled with excitement about exploration. They expanded their colonies rapidly and the civilization grew quickly. These were the first forefathers of human heritage. Having a connection to this early Lyran time, you also have a connection to this pioneering spirit. This spirit compels you to explore the physical and metaphysical worlds. While this is a healthy pursuit, the lessons of the Lyrans have shown that this desire for exploration must also be balanced with daily life. So it's like, adventures are great, but are you chopping wood and carrying water and finding your meals? You don't have to starve for 40 days if if you're being practical. At the same time, don't be bound by practicality. It's balance. Have adventure and practicality in even measure. It asks that your explorations be a way to embrace physical life, not to escape from it. The text for this card pretty much says it all. It refers to the beginning of the first star family directly related to our development on Earth, the Lyrans. It particularly refers to the first era of their development when they were a young species, the youth, and they had many lessons to learn. We reap what we sow through lessons, right? The Lyrans are our oldest forefathers. In the past era, they were very externally focused in reality and not very interested in spiritual development. In some ways, they were young and immature, as most young species are. But qualities of young civilizations can be negative or positive depending on how those qualities are expressed. A pioneering spirit can be a wonderful quality when used with responsibility and integrity. Justice card, balanced. It can also be a negative quality when used immaturely, with ignorance, or without integrity. Thus, it becomes without justice, integrity. Thus, it becomes important to look at the rest of the card, read it to see how to interpret it, and follow your intuition. Usually, this card comes up for people who have had lives in Lyra during this era and are here now to apply those lessons. Perhaps you're being asked to take risks and become a spiritual pioneer in your life a little bit more. Or perhaps the pioneering aspect of your nature needs to be balanced with responsibilities in your life on Earth as a human. Open yourself up to further guidance from the messages of this card and see where the insights can take you. Going to Burning Man is awesome, but at the same time, it's like, do you have an apartment and are you paying your bills, right? Justice, both and. You can do psychedelics, but you also want to not lose your mind and stay in your heart, right? You can be loving and stuff, but you want to have boundaries, right? And the youth card is clarifying this to the degree where it's like, you can explore things, have confidence, be a pioneering spirit, right? But do it in such a way that's mature. It's a paradox, I know. A mature youth, or a responsible adventurer, like that. You don't want to just drink the whole vial of acid at once and see what happens, right? It's not a good look. Reap what you sow. You'll have a horrible time, probably. You might talk to God. You might lose your mind. Sid Barrett style, right? You reach for the secret too soon. Shine on, you crazy diamond, right? We want to bring balance and harmony to all things, which are in harmony in their own weird way, and we just have to kind of align with it. See how she's in alignment? When you're in alignment, you have perfect balance, and you can take adventures without fear of consequences. You can be a pioneer in your life, both spiritually and physically, and know that you're living your life to the fullest in an authentic way. Sun in Aquarius, but also in a grounded way. We got Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Virgo is very much head in the stars, feet on the ground, right? Emotionally, it's like, what's going to make you feel good practically? What's not just like a quick fix for a joy, a buzz, whatever, a high. How can you maintain consistently that? At the same time, don't just restrict yourself to like staying in the monastery and only, eating rice or whatever. Song lines. We've got the orca on this Sunday. Let's sing a song for January, right? It's the last day of the month. I can't believe it's already February. 2021 is already ripping through. So orca on page 120. Song lines. You are walking in the bloodlines of your ancestors, but you are you are an individual who makes your own destiny. So he's walking the lines, right? He's pioneering the trails and blazing paths, not only for himself, but maybe other people have done this before him when they were youths, like so his ancestors have done it, but he's doing it for himself, the youth, right? You make your own destiny. Seek better communication with family. Nourish yourself and exercise extreme self-care. Share your skills with others. That's justice. It's like give to yourself, give to others. Mythos, and very practical, Virgo moon. Also at the same time, very magical, Aquarius sun. Mythos, in Inuit mythos, Sedna was a beautiful maiden who refused marriage arranged by her father, South Node and Sag. She's like, I don't want to do the traditional thing. Don't tell me what to do. I want to be a youth. I want to pioneer my own love life. Instead, preferring to commune with nature. She didn't even want to have a partner. She wanted to just be a hippie. Her father had enough of this disobedience and married her off to the very next human who came along, a man who offered much fish to the family. So he thought there was some kind of level of reciprocity. This is how kind of marriage was back in the day, I think. Bartering, kind of like, oh, I'll marry you off for land or whatever titles. Knowing, fish in this case, knowing his daughter would resist, very Aquarius energy, rebellion, Sedna's father gave her a sleeping potion to drink, and she awoke far from her home in the company of her new husband. Very unjust card, right? Very unfair. The trouble was, this was not a man at all, but a great petrel spirit bird that had disguised his true form. Sedna found herself sitting in a giant nest surrounded by thousands of screeching birds with no way home. She cried out so loudly in fear and anger that her father heard her. He sailed his canoe over the vast icy sea to rescue her from the nest. Sedna and her father were pecked at by angry birds as they began to paddle away, and the spirit bird whipped up a fierce storm that threatened to capsize their small vessel. You reap what you sow. If you go and hang out with the petrel bird god, you're going to get, fucked with by birds, apparently. In his fear, Sedna's father pushed her overboard, hoping this would placate the bird husband and save his own life. His own sick form of justice card. Sedna managed to grasp the side of the canoe to stop herself from sinking, but in his panic, her father cut off her fingers, and she ran to the underworld. She sank to the underworld of the ocean. There she grew a fish's tail and became the mistress of all. Her cut fingers transformed into beautiful sea mammals such as seals and whales, which are integral to the survival of all Inuit. Her guardians, the orcas, were her messengers and told of her to others. Sedna grants hunters upon the ocean a successful hunt without which they would be in extreme hardship and die. She provides nourishment in the unforgiving environment if a hunt is successful. After all, there are no rich pastures or supermarkets to fall back on in the Arctic. Very Virgo moon. It's like, I will provide practically for my people. Sedna is seen in her shadow aspect as very vengeful, so hunters give gifts and songs to her as they set out on their boats. There's balance, right? If you're mean to Sedna, she's not going to be nice to you. If you're nice to her, she'll help you out. Scales of balance. In Sedna's myths, good stewardship of the ocean's finite resources is necessary, and taboos are, so you got to be just, and taboos are upheld to underline this, a lesson we could all do well to maintain, right? So you reap what you sow, and there's consequences. The orca is an iconic sea creature that has fired our human imagination for millennia. Written about by the ancient Greeks and Romans, the orca is part of the mythos and spirituality of a number of cultures. Siberian, Pacific Northwest, Newfoundland, and indigenous peoples all depict the orca as integral to their spiritual beliefs and art. They honor the killer whale, especially in family or clan worship, and it is still part of their culture today. The animal. Orcas look very distinctive. They're very unique. They're very pioneering in their own look, right? Aquarius sun. They're very unique. Their black and white skin is immediately recognizable, and they even show the balance, right? Black and white, yin and yang, kind of in the flesh. Their 50 interlocking inward teeth are perfectly designed for both hunting and echolocation, and it's estimated that a fully grown orca will consume about 200 kilograms of food per day. They are highly effective hunters, thus the term killer whale, and they hunt in highly organized pods. While these members of the dolphin family are incredibly physical, it is what scientists are just beginning to learn about their culture that is so interesting. North Node Gemini, we're learning. Orcas live in matrilineages, meaning they stay in matriarchal lines. Great-grandmothers, grandmothers, mothers, and daughters, all with calves, travel in one very stable matriline, and that is usually around 5 generations deep. A number of matrilines may make up a pod that comes and goes freely. All members of the pod use the same set of sounds and songs. It is their own dialect. This language is an important part of the bonding of these families and in finding each other in difficult conditions. The final grouping is a number of pods coming together in what scientists call a clan. It's very Aquarius energy, levels of teamwork, right? Individuals working together in different dynamics. When clans come together loosely, it's called a community. While clans share similar language and ancestry, communities don't share language but do share territories. For all their savage reputation, there has never been a fatal attack by an orca in the wild. In fact, the only recorded fatalities have occurred with captive orcas, and it is not known whether these deaths were accidental or deliberate attempts by the whales to cause harm. Maybe they're like, you took me out of my home, I'm going to kill you. Justice card. Wild orcas have actually been recorded as being very friendly and cooperative with humans, assisting them to hunt. The magic. Orca magic can be raised by singing your own song by the sea. It is a feminine magic, and I pulled feminine, I forget, like feminine principle, I think, with Haley as my galactic heritage card this morning with her. So it's a feminine magic that can be used to help heal breaches in family relationships. And I actually just talked to my dad last night for an hour, and I very rarely talk to him, so heard. Orca magic is also one that asks for self-care and nourishment. Feminine, right? Receptive, kind of like take care of yourself. Virgo, for your health, emotional health, in your physical health. And when you are feeling weak in your physical body or mind, especially with issues of vitality or endurance, the power of the orca can be called upon as an ally. Symbology is woman underwater with a fishtail, woman with a spirit bird, woman in orca, black curved dorsal fin. Status is endangered. So they're not doing as well as they could be because people have hunted them or whatever's going on there. Not a good look. We'll reap what we sow. We'll miss out on orcas and not have them in our world if we fuck it up, right? But ultimately, they're very spirited. They're a big dolphin. I mean, they're a killer whale, but they're a dolphin. They're playful, the youth card, right? And they're very pioneering. In that, I don't know if you've seen this, but on National Geographic, I think, or something like that, they're one of the only whales that like charges seals. It's very kind of, it's nature, so it's dramatic and, sad and violent, but they've learned how to like charge seals, I think, or maybe other dolphins or something like that, onto a beach, like near a beach, and use the beach to corral them and eat them. So very forward looking, right? Very playful, but also deadly. Both and playful and deadly, justice card. And the orcas, the song lines are telling us we can tap into our lineage, in that case matrilineage, but in our bloodlines we have a song. The song of Thra, according to Dark Crystal, right? It's in us. The song of the stars. So let's go ahead and get an art oracle card. We've got, and there's actually a shark, a dissected shark on here. Damien Hirst is the artist we've got. It's funny, because we're talking about killer whales, and there's not a killer whale. It's a shark, but people fear both of them, I guess, naturally for whatever reason. Damien Hirst, I believe, yep, is the last artist in here, and he's kind of younger artist, pioneering spirit. Damien, more money, more problems. Hirst, adult, enfant, and terrible, North Node and Gemini, bad kid, right, is among the most celebrated and lucrative artists of his generation, a winner of the Turner Prize and preoccupied with the subject of mortality. Aided by scientific and pharmaceutical advances, very Sun in Aquarius, right, and health related, kind of in a sense, Virgo Moon. Hirst's artwork offers wry commentary on humanity's ineffective faith in tech and medicine to heal our existential wounds. Among Hirst's trademark flourishes are the suspension of sharks, calves, cow heads, and dissected pigs in formaldehyde, the diamond incrustation of cast human skulls, and the display of so many pharmaceuticals in backlit cabinets. All roads lead to a psychological cul-de-sac, right? So it's very Aquarian. He's very independent and different and weird and doing taboo-ish kind of things where it's like bizarre, right? And the freak of the art world, I guess, in some way. Talk to your local pharmacist, it's saying. I think with justice, we need to care. I mean, this was talking about nurturing yourself, the orca, right? Virgo Moon. We can actually get really big ideas, genius epiphanies. Sun in Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. We can really be very pioneering, right, in how we take care of ourselves right now, how we bring balance to our lives. If we're always on the internet, maybe we should be taking a Vipassana. If we're always kind of in our minds and headspace, maybe we should be socializing and learning how to network and create a small business or whatever, right? Learning how to balance. And we have this ability to use technology, Aquarius, but also, so a good example is my fiance. She uses a lot of solfeggio frequencies and subliminal messages. That's using technology and information, right, to create magic of healing and transformation in her life. It brings justice, right, balance. Ultimately, on a journey of discovery. We're in a place where no human has been before, as far as we know. I mean, maybe it's a loop and Atlanteans have done this before or whatever, but the idea here is that we're pioneers of the time space we're in right now. And we can sing a song of freedom, we can sing a song of anything really, but ultimately tapping into our bloodlines, tapping into our DNA, knowing how to unlock that causes health. And sometimes you need to go to your shaman, you need to go to your psychotherapist. That's what I think tarot and astrology are. So hit me up for a reading if you want that kind of abstract Age of Aquarius kind of psychotherapeutic help. That's what it is ultimately. But it says talk to your local pharmacist. This is about Virgo moon. Get emotionally right health in your health, both physically, mentally, spiritually, right? Bring balance to your fucking life. That doesn't mean all I do is read books and I never fucking go for walks outside. It doesn't mean all I do is sit in a cave and close my eyes and say Om and I never engage with the community, right? It's about being balanced and bringing both. So let's get what is it? A stone. I had one more in there, so I wanted to make sure I can shuffle it up in here. So what can we get on this last day of... We've got Chrysocolla. This is one of the most beautiful stones I've got in this deck. Look at that puppy. You can quantumly entangle with this. Maybe I'm pronouncing this. Chrysocolla. Chrysocoolla. Chrysocolla. What it is. Let me put this down. What it is. It's very dreamy and spacey and alien. It looks like orca song rock. Not like that it looks like an orca, but it looks like maybe something that Sedna would see at the bottom of the ocean when she was getting her fingers chopped off and turning into seals or whatever. What it is, Chrysocolla forms near copper ore deposits, hence its wavy blue-green swirls left behind by oxidized metal. Like other materials associated with copper, think telephone wires, Chrysocolla opens up channels to clear communication, right? And we're going to be wanting to work on clear communication with Mercury retrograde, but also when it's talking about the telephone wires, that's technology. It's Aquarius sending out like lightning, electric signals to the universe through tech. Who needs it? Anyone entangled in the 24/7 fear cycle propagated by the political media complex, those who can never find the right words, Mercury retrograde, right? Where to put it? Hold it to your high heart and breathe. When to use it? When you feel small and vulnerable and are looking for someone to parent you, but then you remember that you are a grown-up, but it's cool because you totally got this. That's the youth card. It's the pioneering spirit. It's like we need people and we need ourselves, but at the same time we're here to like push boundaries, pioneering spirit, right? We're here to find our own song line in the dream. Doesn't mean we don't don't avoid help in that sense, because talk to your local pharmacist, right? You want to get information, whether it's through arrowhead.org or .com or WebMD or shamans or whatever. You want to get help, but yeah, it does remind me of the sea, right? Totally, that's what I was saying. It's like very oceanic. It says be your own mama, right? Like you can be your own justice keeper. The youth doesn't. He's like, I'm my own man. Like I'm becoming my own man, and that takes a process. That takes an ability to pioneer spirit. It's not about. Doesn't be your own mama. Matriarchal lines. You can have mothers and grandmothers and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you have a life to live. Doesn't mean you don't need help sometimes. So ask a little help from my friends, or I get a little help from my friends or whatever. But at the same time, you got to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and do your own thing, or else you'll live a life half lived. That's unjust. If you're just codependent and always saying other people tell me what to do and other people tell me what to think, it's like be your own guardian, parent or guardian. So let's go ahead and jam. I haven't actually set anything up because I thought I was going to play acoustic guitar, so give me a second, 2 seconds, just to put a thing here and put a thing there. Ding-a-dong, ding-a-dong, dong-dong-do-da. Old MacDonald had a live stream playing electric guitar. Alright, so we've got Justice card, as well as the youth as a clarifier. So let's go ahead and plug up and play. Thanks for being patient. With it being the last day of January, tomorrow is the 1st of February, we might be able to really kind of tap into healing ourselves and releasing stuff. I know it's not an official cycle, it's Gregorian, but like we could still do that. So well, Mercury retrograde. I was thinking just as I lifted that, I was like, this is supporting my iPad, so hold I knew that would happen. Let's just put it that way. Dirt. Alright, no harm, no foul. But yeah, that was some Mercury retrograde shit. Pioneering Spirit, fail. If I just pushed this back a little, that wouldn't have happened. And now we're good. But good God, you guys got like a... I hope that didn't break anything. I'll find out later, I guess. Alright. So... Dang, son. I just wanna put this up because that's so hard. You'd think my life would be easier. I've asked for many uphill battles. Alright, so. Oh my gosh, still the same problem though. That's good enough. The problem is this is pushed up against a down blanket, and it's a heavy blanket, so if I move a little of it, the whole thing kind of got fucked with. Sure. Let's play. Even this, there's so much Mercury great retrograde action happening, you don't even know. My pedal was just set to something I've never even touched. Bank 15B, which was blank. So Justice. With the Youth. much Mercury retrograde stuff happening. You don't even know. Alas, we pushed through, right? So, thanks for bearing with the technical difficulty of dropping my stuff. We have the Justice card. So, even though sometimes life feels like it's overwhelming, even though sometimes we feel like it's not fair, it is fair. It is balanced. We're here to learn through trial and error, through head and heart, through good and bad times, through highs and lows, through masculine and feminine, right? We're going to have fun on this trip, hence the youth card. We're here, we've set out to be explorers of consciousness that are young. That requires a pioneering spirit, right? That requires a willingness to go into the unknown. I had no clue what I was going to play just then. I definitely didn't know what was going to happen after I dropped all my gear here, right? But ultimately, we're here to sing songs of freedom, sing songs of love and heart, as well as sing songs that are intricate and new to us, to push the envelope, to see what's out there. Don't do it. You don't have to do it alone. It says, talk to your local pharmacist. You can get help, Virgo Moon, from others. Ask your higher self. Ask, spiritual leaders, shamans. Ask people like me for readings. Holler if you want them. I love giving them. People love getting them. But ultimately, we're here to be our own mama, as Chris Cola is saying. You can get advice, but you have to take the medicine. You can get pointed in a direction, but you have to do the walking, right? So you can pioneer, but the steps have to be taken by you, Virgo Moon, Aquarius Sun, right? So try to balance your head with your heart. Try to look up at the stars, but keep your feet on the ground. Try to have hope, but be realistic. Try to be, practical, but also dream, right? That's the nature. He has to eat, but he wants to go check out new worlds, right? And in order to be a pioneering spirit, we have to take risks, right? We have to jump out of the water, breach the safety of the waters, and sing a song loudly, right? With the song lines. And people have done this before us, whether it's going from England to the Americas, whether it's going, to Mars, whatever we're going to be doing. We have a pioneering, spirit that sings songs. So this is in our blood to be pioneers. That's what the human, rise up, punctuate. It's like basically punctuate, balance. So, coming through chaos to equilibrium, through youthful folly, ultimately with the heart and the head leading the way in a practical, hopefully balanced way, singing our songs so that the people behind us in time know that we are doing what they've pushed us forward to do, and the people ahead of us know that we did what we needed to do to secure their realities, right? You can ask for help if you need it, right? It says seek your local pharmacist. If you need psychedelics, do it. If you need Vipassana, do it. If you need socialization, do it. If you need, to make love, do it. Like, do what makes you healthy, Virgo Moon. Breathing, right? Exercises, eating well, exercise, all these things, listening to music, singing songs, right? But you are your own mama, Christ of Cola, right? You have to poke yourself up by the bootstraps. No one's telling him where to go. He's saying, I got this shit, but I've got a friend, North Node and Gemini. He's like, I'll do this with a partner, Aquarius season vibes. I do it with others. I do it with myself, and I do it for the clan. I do it for my past, and I do it for the future, but I'm in the middle. I'm here in the now. So hopefully that makes sense. Go out there and enjoy this Sunday. It is a Sahasrara Chakra Day. You are an individual in a collective, and you are many things, many DNA lines and all these ancestors and stuff coming to you right now in the present moment. So tap into the power of the present moment. Ask yourself and others what maybe your blind spots are in order to bring, you got to make lists of like what you've been doing good and bad. This is Libra. It's like, where have I been succeeding? Pat yourself on the back. Where have I been failing? And take the initiative, the youth, to chart out new territories, new habits of the heart, new habits of the mind, right? Sing new songs. Like, that's a whole lot of different songs going on to create a loop, right? Like Vinay is saying. And ultimately, that's what we're in. We're in the song of creation, guys. Look, and the song remains the same. It's Om all the way up and down. But it feels new and different to us. So enjoy the fucking ride. Holler for readings if you want. Love giving them. People love getting them. 5 stars only. We out here like that. Check out the podcast. Katie Schaub is coming on. Vinay's been on, right? I'm trying to see who else is up in here. Anybody who wants to come on, hit me up. I love having friends and acquaintances on, as well as famous people, Richard Rudd and people like that. But check out the podcast. Hit me up for readings. Enjoy your Sunday, the last day of January, and know that we're learning a lot right now. We're learning what we want, and it's either fear or love. And if we're going in a place of adventure, the youth card, you will come into contact with starvation and rainy days or whatever. Like, suffering occurs, but it's your attitude in that suffering that makes all the difference, right? So don't avoid, right? You can't just be like, well, I'm just going to be in my head and never in my heart. Feelings hurt. It's like, well, then you're going to be That's the whole Zeta gray line right here. You can't just be, oh, I'm in my heart and I never think for myself and I just want to play. That's the Palladian thing. Be in the middle. We're humans. We're both and. We're spirit, but we're mind and heart. We're masculine and feminine. We're polarity. We're night and day. We're evil and good. We're God and the devil, if you want to put it that way. So, holler for readings. Check out the podcast. Have a beautiful last day of January and enjoy the fucking ride.